you everybody for coming out and sharing this moment with us. Mecum Monterey this year, 11 years and 600 great cars over 3 days. Dana's going to speak a little bit about that. My name is John Kramen. I'm the Director of Company Relations and the lead TV commentator analyst. And this gentleman here has brought this company a long way. World's largest
and number two magician. Number two magician.
The assistant magician.
Assistant magician.
World's largest collector car auction company. 13 collector car auctions this year alone on the schedule. This is our 11th year, as I said, in Monterey. 600 cars. This is the biggest collector car auction on the peninsula. Dana, what are your thoughts about Monterey 2019?
Well, first I gotta get this out of my mind, John. They got a new magic house at my home there in Lake Geneva, and it's a wonderful thing. So we went there to the magic show the other day, took my grandkids and stuff, and that magician's assistant was a lot prettier than you.
I'm sorry, boss.
So anyway, unequivocally, and I don't think I speak this, I'm very proud of our presentation this year, because in my 32 years of business, I've never had a more rounded inventory. I've had more cars. I don't think any auction company's had a better inventory ever for everybody. They've had more valuable inventory, so on and so forth, but we got great hot rods here, we got great Corvettes here, we got great muscle cars here, we got great classic cars, great vintage Ferraris, great vintage Porsches, late model exotics. I have never ever had or seen a better rounded field of cars than we have this year. And we're making a very special announcement here. We're going to announce an automobile that we're going to sell in Kissimmee in January, the world's largest collector car auction. And my consignment guys, you know, they always get 3,000 cars. And I'm going to tell them here now for the first time, this year we're going to have 4,000
Oh
cars.
My word.
And this is the first car consigned for Kissimmee 2020. And it'll show in 2020 that Mecum's vision is 2020. This is one of the most important pop culture cars ever in American history. And it's going to shake the world, it's going to rattle, and it is going to be, if we can sign another 3,999, it'd be a miracle if we get one more important than this. But that's our task, is to try to get another car equal or better than this one. Go ahead and reveal it. Oh my gosh. John!
Hey,
Make it appear, John!
I forgot how, Dana. Where's the house?
Holy
What do we
cow!
do?
Here she comes! This is the actual Bullitt from the movie. Sean driving it. His father was probably, everybody's hunted for this car for 35, 40 years. This man's father, speaking of a magician, he had to be the biggest secret keeper ever. This car was hid in his garage. He taught his son that it was very, very special, and they never ever told anybody about it. Over the last year, it's been on the car show circuit, and it is one of the most iconic pop culture cars in American history. Here's Sean to tell you a little bit more about their story.
Well, hello to everybody that now I'm here. This is what I've been thinking about for the past 6 months. So here it is, the golden hour. This is obviously it's been in my family for 55 years. This is something that my dad and I have had as a family constantly throughout the years, have just been wanting to unveil it to the world and be able to do it in the best possible fashion. And January 2018, we did that. My dad sadly passed away in 2014. Since January 18, been honoring my father with this car around the world, telling our story, telling the family story, telling why it was hidden in our garage, and I've been walking by it my whole life. So, as you can imagine, with us holding onto this car for 45 years, we've never sold a car. We have every car. I've got the car I came home from the hospital in. So, my family together. So this car, to my family, is a part of the family, and what it's done for us as a family has just been taking my dad and his thoughts and his legacy and everything and moving it forward. Even though he's passed away, his story lives on, and that's what I want this car to continue to do. Obviously, I'm not this amazing car collector. I just happen to have this car, and I want this thing to be continued in the automotive limelight, and it has more stories to tell and to be a part of people's lives. And that's why us as a family are okay with ending our story with Bullitt and letting it go to the future owner and letting it mean completely something different to the new owner and start telling the next chapter of the story.
Sean, on behalf of all of us at Mecum Auctions, thank you so much for entrusting this car with us.
Absolutely.
It means a lot. We've got some time for some questions. Are you prepared to answer some questions from anybody out in the audience?
Definitely.
Anybody?
Any hecklers?
I welcome those. Sir.
Yes, it's consigned to be sold. It's the main attraction for Kissimmee 2020.
He still owns it, and
He still owns it, and it's consigned. Yes, sir.
Yep. How'd I get it? That is a very long story. We have a documentary coming out soon that will tell every bit of Bullitt. My dad bought this car in 1974 out of the back of a Road and Track magazine. It was a classified ad that it turns out his wife put in Road and Track. Still friendly with the second owner, but that was it. Or best offer. Bullitt was actually misspelled in the magazine. But yeah, it was October 74, and it's been our family ever since. My mom and dad drove it every day. It was my mom's daily driver during the week, and my dad's driver on the weekend. My mom was a third grade Catholic school teacher, and this was her daily. Yeah, in the trunk. Yeah, actually. What's that? Providence, it would be easier to go on what I don't have, which is nothing. Steve McQueen tried buying this car back from my father in '77, which actually verified the fact that it is the car. I have that letter embossed with the Solar Productions. Much also, we got the Warner Brothers authentication as the Warner Brothers parking lot pass still in the windshield from the 7 Arch days. That's why I'm most protective about the windshield on this car. Also, it has the registration from the last time it was registered in 1980 in New Jersey. And yeah, basically anything and everything is kept with the car. It still has the oil sticker from 1979 at the AMCO. So, mechanically, everything is done by myself in my garage. The motor has been gone through completely, front to back, brakes. Everything, my goal was to not upset the outside of the car. I never wanted to fix or repair or erase the history of this car. So my goal was to make sure it started, stopped, and didn't catch on fire. And I succeeded through that. I've been to the Goodwood Festival of Speed. I took my mom up the hill first run. I went up 12 times and down 12 times, and she did amazing. And honestly, at the end of the day, we know what she was built to do, and that was to be in front of a camera. She does it well. She fires up every time I ask her to. There's never skipping a beat. And yeah, it's just, you know, I just sit behind the wheel and stand next to her and tell the story the best I can and keep it between the ditches. Mm-hmm. Why? The biggest reason for some. What's that?
in your mind, would you envision what would be the ideal caretaker for this car?
The ideal caretaker for this car, that's a great question. I think that, you know, I hope that somebody that enjoys the romance of the car, where it's been, how it got here, and wants to leave it the way it is. I mean, that would be huge, because obviously every nick, scratch, dent in this car tells a story. Yeah, and honestly, the next person will be that next chapter.
I think.
Can you hear me there? I think something that you could see with this car to the new owner is something that you haven't ever seen with an American muscle car before. You've seen it with high-level Ferraris. When I started in this business, it was driven by nostalgia. People remembered what they had when they were young. Then it moved to legend, what their dads and uncles told them and stuff. What some of the Ferraris have turned to is they're considered pieces of art. This is a piece of American pop culture. So you could be very, very surprised. The person that buys this car may not be a car guy at all. This car is now a canvas. And there's not many cars that reach that stage. And this, I believe, to my knowledge, this would be the first American muscle car that gets sold as a piece of art.
How many of these did they build for the film?
I can answer that extremely well. There was two. One was the jump car. This was the hero car. This one did all of the driving with McQueen behind the wheel. The other one was built just for the stunts and the jumps. So as far as stunt driving was the other one. Hit the hill, didn't do too well. And this one ended up doing everything. So this was about 90% of the chase. The only part was the actual really good jumps.
And where's that car?
That car it was found in 2017 in Mexico, and it is basically where this is about 98% original. That one's the other side of it. There's not really a lot left of it, but hopefully in the coming years there'll be a restoration process on that car.
How many Mustangs have you seen the rest of the Bullitt car come across the auction block?
Well, I think a better answer to that question is the testimony that Ford's done building new Bullets. There's a whole universe of cars to look like a Bullitt Mustang, but I think a bigger testimony, manufacturers have built icon cars over the years, but to repeatedly do it, I think the Bullitt car is the only car Ford has repeatedly over the years built new Bullitt models. And so, for it to be recreated 3 times, and how many more times will Ford do it? Do you get royalties every time Ford does this? Do you get royalties every time Ford does this?
I've only done it once, so I've been out of the closet, so that was on the 19.
And you didn't get no royalties? So
I
we
got the
can't
19, no,
we can't
absolutely.
promise the new buyer royalties?
No, absolutely.
That's where I was headed.
Yeah, no, absolutely, no.
Okay.
I've got a new 19, and that's staying in the garage, so, yeah.
So, again, why?
Honestly, the main reason why, like I said, I'm not, honestly, if the true answer to that is this car and what it is in preservation and what it means and what it takes to take care of this car, not only logistically, but I'm talking just everything. It needs somebody as far as to take care and take it to the next level as far as showing it around the world. I think I've reached my peak with the car. I could just put it back in the garage and go to my day job and be done with that. I'm a paint and body guy. I have no problem with that. We paint cars. That's what we do. Which is funny because you look at this and, makes you think twice. But at the same time, you go next level, next chapter of the car needs to, the world continues to see this car. I want it to stay in the light. I don't want it to be in the garage. I don't want to accidentally knock into it while I'm walking through. I want it to continue to be out there. And the next steward of the car, hopefully will be able to continue on that journey.
You know what? That's a good question. And that's a good question. And this man here is my hero because he's going to let the market decide. This car's going to be sold no reserve at Kissimmee. So the American market will decide what this car is worth. And my sales pitch, my best sales pitch as a salesman for my client is what I just gave you. This is going to be the first American car that gets sold for art, not a car. So I expect it to easily surpass the world's record for an American car. Not an American car, for an American muscle car.
What is that record?
American muscle car is probably, public auction is $3.5 million for a 71 Cuda. Convertible. And the record for an American car is $20 million for a Duesenberg here last year at Goodings. So.
Somewhere in between.
If she brings 20, me and you will be dancing like they never seen. But she could, because it's going to sell as a piece of art. That's our mission over the next 6 months, to show the world this is a piece of pop culture art. It's not a car no more. This is a canvas.
She does run and drive though.
Do you anticipate global buyers coming in from around the world?
Absolutely. When I did Goodwood, the amount of people that just went to Goodwood to come and see the car was overwhelming. I didn't stop talking 12 hours a day. Yes, so I imagine, yeah, definitely global.
I can promise you something, sir. I got red and blue blood running in my veins, and there's nobody outside of America getting this car. I can promise you that. So tell the global to bring it on. We'll show them the money. Pardon me? No. But there's still some Americans out there. You watch.
How do you spell your name?
Oh, it's Sean, S-E-A-N. Kiernan, K-I-E-R-N-A-N.
K-E-I-R?
K-I-E-R-N-A-N. You can Google Bullitt, this will pop up, hopefully.
Anybody else? Well, with that, thank you so much for sharing this very special moment with us. Thanks to Sean for entrusting it to Mecum. And remember, Kissimmee, Florida, 2020, the main attraction. We've actually gotten to see some action over here. We've actually got a television show, live show, promoting this car and Monterey. Begins at 4 o'clock on NBCSN. So anybody wants to ask Dana or Sean a question, come on up. But we'd like to kind of get this area cleared out within the next 15, 20 minutes or so we can go
Let me
live
tell
higher.
Sam, please don't touch the car. That's the only thing I ask.